it's Jen. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed that I have taken a recent obsession to brush script or brush lettering. And I have a few things that I just want to share with you. I've had questions about the things that I'm using and how to get started on brush lettering. I thought I would just take a minute and show you in a video the things that I like to use. I started by trying out calligraphy. I had a friend teach me, and I just wasn't finding my groove with it. But then when I started doing some brush lettering, some brush script, I really found my groove, I think. And so I want to show you, I'll show you these few things one at a time, but these are some Fude pens. These are from Emoji. I'll make sure that I link to all of the products that I use below so that you can take a look at those if you want. I have two different kinds of Emoji pens. One of them is a brush. This is the medium brush tipped pen, and it has like actual bristles on a brush. That's what I started with. And then this one is a flexible nib point, and this is the fine tip, and I really love this one. I also have some Pigma from Sakura brush pens, and they are just like a fine tip brush. It's not an actual brush, it's a flexible nib. So there's lots of colors in that one. I bought these all in one package together. And all of these things I found at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. So you can get them locally if you're in the US or Canada. You should be able to find those. Or you can get them online as well. And then I've been using this watercolor set, which is just a cheap set, again from Michael's. And I've been loving using that as well. So I'm going to start with well, actually, let's end with my favorite. I'm going to start with the Pigma brush pens. We'll move on to the watercolors, and then we'll end with these Emoji Fude pens. And so we'll go ahead and I'll zoom in a little bit closer so that you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get started. Before we get started, I just wanted to show you, I bought this inexpensive Canson sketchbook that I've just been filling up with quotes and different things to practice my lettering. And so I think something like this is a really great thing to get practicing on. I filled up one, I just bought another one, and it only took me like a week to fill this up. I have just been obsessed. So let's go ahead and get started now. So like I said, we're going to start with the Pigma brush pens, and these come in a variety of colors. You can see the colors here, and these are really fun to play with. The only thing that I've noticed is that as you use them, the nib softens a little bit, and I think it's not quite as easy to use. I'm just going to show you, for all my examples today, I'm using just some really inexpensive cardstock that I got at Walmart, and it's just easy to use, so I am going to go ahead with that. So one of the things, I've always been a huge fan of practicing my handwriting. Since probably elementary school, I've written things out. I've copied like encyclopedia pages just because I love practicing my handwriting. And so it does take practice for sure, but you can do it. So one of the things that people always tell you is to push down. When the downstrokes you push and the upstrokes you lift. So this pen has gotten a little bit soft, but I'm just gonna go ahead and write a quote, and you can watch me write it down here. I'm using the purple. So push down, lift up, push down, lift up, push down, lift up. And I do kind of stop in between each letter. Some I stop more than others. So you can see that this isn't quite as neat on the ends. That's why these pens are a little bit, I liked them a lot at first, and I still like them. I just think that once they get a little bit worn down, you have to be more deliberate and intentional with your strokes, because you have to make up for the fact that they're super flexible. One of the other things about doing this kind of lettering that you have to be aware of is where you have the descenders of your letters, because you've got to work around them. So I'm not really concentrating, honestly, writing this one, or I would have done a bit of a better job. So that is the Pigma brush, and I'll just show you really quickly the different colors that there are. Are the Pigma brush pens. So I hope that that gives you a bit of an idea on those ones. They're fun to play with, but not my absolute favorite. So let's go ahead and move on to the watercolors. I love using watercolors. It is so much fun. So like I said, I just have a cheap set here. All the colors are mixed together and I don't care. I did buy a really fine point brush, and I left the packaging on it. It is a size 0 tight detail brush, and you can see it right there maybe. And I just got this at Michael's, I believe, and it's just a nice fine point, but there's enough give in it to do some cool lettering. So I will show you with this one. I really love this blue color. So what you want to do when you're using watercolors, it doesn't matter if you use the super cheap ones. In fact, I think it's easier to use the super cheap ones. I've tried using other kinds of, like the kinds that come in the tubes, and I don't know why, but for me this is just way easier. So I really love this blue color, and I'm also going to use this teal color. We'll go into each other. The fun thing with watercolors is that you can blend the colors together. So let me find a quote. We'll do a short one. So we're gonna write, "Life is a beautiful struggle." So you just kind of get the color on your brush, and then I roll it off. So I have plenty of pigment on my brush. And then you're gonna do the same thing. Push down, lift up. You definitely want a round tip brush for this. And I like to go back into my color like every letter or every other letter. I guess it depends on how much of a fade you want to get. So let's see, I'm going to keep going with the teal. I should have planned this out, which I didn't. And I like this because it looks very hand done, which I love. Well, all of it looks hand done because it is, but I just like the watercolor look. So you can see you can get it to go really light and still have enough pigment to do your letters. When I cross my T's next to an I, which I find that's often, I just leave a space to put the dot. And so you can see that there's a really fine tip. What I'm doing is starting with a really fine part, going up and then pushing down, and you can push down as hard as you want depending on how thick you want the line to be. And I like to kind of bounce up and down with the lines. And if this doesn't look like it's very blended, then I can just come back and kind of fix that. This is something I'm still learning and still practicing, but I think it's really fun. And if I were to write this for somebody, I've given away a few gifts of stuff that I've written in like picture frames, you know, as a print. I would practice it first to get the spacing right before I did it. So there's that one. Life is a beautiful struggle. So I really like using the watercolors, and you can use one color, you can use multiple colors, but it's just really fun. So you can see, you can start dark and then get it to fade out. So it's fun. I like the varied look of color. It's really pretty. Okay, so lastly, we're gonna move on to these Emoji pens. And like I said, I started with the brush one and I absolutely loved it. It's kind of like the paintbrush, the look that you can get. The thing that I don't super love about the brush pen and why it's not my favorite anymore is the fact that you don't get as clean of lines. And let me show you what I mean. So let me find another quote, a short one that I can write out for you. Let's see. We'll do this one from Tom Petty. So we're gonna, same deal, push down, lift up, push down, lift up. The slower you write with this pen, the better ink coverage you get. Can see the difference between this. It's a lot of a smoother look with an actual paintbrush because you can add more water. With the ink, you cannot add more water. So it looks nice, but that was my struggle with this particular pen. I still like it, I still use it. And let me show you the last example here. Now let me find one more quote. So this is the pen that has the flexible, it's kind of like a hard nib, but it's flexible, and I love it. And you can write a lot smaller with it. This is the fine point. It comes in extra fine, fine, and medium that I know of. It might come in a large, I'm not exactly sure. But I really, really like this one because it feels more like a pen, but I can push down and get the thicks and thins like I can with the brush or whatever. So I just find for me that I have a lot more control. So that looks like it says UE, but that's supposed to be a W, so just disregard that. So you can push down quite hard with this. and I really like it. And I should have planned this out because I've got my Y running into my T there. And sometimes what you can do is leave your descenders hanging like this until you get the next word down, and then you can fit it in. I've seen Christina Werner do that and it works quite well, but I didn't do that, so. Changed by not changing at all. So those are the different pens. Let me show you more examples of each one that I have here in my little like practice notebook. So let me find one that I really like. So these are, you can tell obviously where the watercolor ones are done, and I really like using the watercolor. This one I really love, and this is using the brush pen. So that one looks really nice, and so is this. So you can get pretty small with the brush pen. I hope that you're seeing this. Yes, you are. Okay, so you can get pretty small with the brush, and it looks nice. So this is all the brush. This is when I found the brush and I loved it, and I kept using it and using it and using it. You can see it looks really nice. So these are some of the ones that are with the Pigma brush pens. So you can see some of my, there you go, some of my practice with that. And I really like the way that these ones look with a normal, not a script font. So there's those. That's really fun. And then towards the back is where I have more of the ones that are using this fine tip pen. And I really like the way those ones look. So I kind of found my groove with this pen. I love this quote. I may not be the strongest, I may not be the fastest, but I'll be darned if I'm not trying my hardest. So I just wanted to kind of share with you some of the things that I've been playing with and working on. And I plan to, this is a little sneak surprise, add some hand-lettered cut files and maybe some printables to my shop. So look for those coming soon. And if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I'll answer as best I can. Like I said, I'm just practicing, I'm just learning, but I thought I would share it with you because I've been so obsessed with it lately. So thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.